Hi, I'm Jason Johnson, and for this week's production, we preview the Super Bowl, the big game between the Carolina Panthers and the Denver Broncos. Possibly Peyton Manning's last game. Probably a chance for Cam Newton to solidify his status as one of the best, and and it's probably going to be shaping up to be the best Super Bowl of all time because pretty much Tom Brady is no longer in this one. So that's a good thing. Second, we saw Pokemon is going to be celebrating its 20th anniversary, and what better way to celebrate it is with a Super Bowl commercial. Pretty much, Pokemon will be telling people to train on. Yep, and just like that is pretty much. He's starting this little small top 10 series of lists, and pretty much celebrates the 20th anniversary of it. So pretty much you got to see that. Probably see at least one top 10 list every day. That's gonna be fun. And finally, of course, I need you guys to keep it real with me. Seriously, first time. Seriously, keep it real. I answered one of you guys' questions on Twitter, and I keep it real with you guys, giving you guys a real, honest question. So, with that being said, I'm Jason Johnson, and this is a JJ MMA production. Let's do this. Alright, yep, so here we are. So, let's begin. Let's get cracking. The Super Bowl. It is the big game. The Super Bowl. Pretty much it's between the Denver Broncos, who defeated the New England Patriots in the AFC title game, and Carolina, who pretty much destroyed the Arizona Cardinals in a big fashion. So, what can we expect in this game between these two teams? Well, let's see. This is pretty much going to be the retirement. This is going to be the last game, probably the last rodeo of Peyton Manning, because he pretty much kind of confirmed it with Bill Belichick here, despite the fact that he did not want the media to know it. So, if you didn't want people to know, here's an idea: just don't tell anyone. Pretty much just wait until you do it in a private conversation. Plus, you were in the 50-yard line, and everyone wanted to see you wanted to see those pictures, one of those pictures and video. So yeah, you kind of made it public yourself, Mr. Manning. So I'm not saying you shouldn't have done it, but you kind of made it happen. Yeah, you kind of made it happen. So it's kind of your fault there. So yeah, it's kind of your fault there. So yeah, pretty much. But either way, if this is his last game, it would be a thrilling way for him to go out with a second Super Bowl. Because come on, how many more opportunities you can get at this point? Because get that elusive second Super Bowl you wanted. Because hey, you could have gotten the Saints, but because that onside kick, that pretty much failed. That changed the game. That changed that whole game completely. Do you guys remember Super Bowl 44? Pretty much, when pretty much that onside kick call happened, when they decided to do an onside kick at that point, that was a surprise. A big one. Seriously, at that point, you pretty much were not prepared. So, there's that. And of course, Peyton Manning could have gotten a chance at Super Bowl 48 against the Seahawks, but from the first play from scrimmage, that kind of ruined it, because basically because that was a blowout. That was a really big blowout, and pretty much that was a big game. So yeah, hey man, this is actually probably your last chance to get that Super Bowl. And hey, Denver Broncos pretty much won a Super Bowl last time they went to the Super Bowl. They actually won it for one player. Sorry, they won it for your boss, John Elway. So so I guess when they actually do this one, instead of saying this one's for John, they're pretty much gonna be saying this one's for Peyton. Pretty much saying this one's for Peyton. Never heartwarming, heartfelt moment. Moment. But yeah. So yeah, let's get to pretty much the care. So Denver has had a great defense this season, especially this season because basically their front seven is one tough defense. He's gonna be tough there. They are good at neutralizing the running game and pretty much very good enough to take down possibly Cam Newton, especially Cam Newton, because if you don't contain Cam Newton, chances are he is going to be dabbing. He is pretty much at this point going to be dabbing his way into getting that Lamar trophy. So one of the best chances for Denver to win this game is simple. They gotta basically not make Cam Newton dab his way into the end zone, and pretty much then there's a big chance you guys could win there. So that's a big chance for Denver. So that's enough about the Broncos here. Now let's get to pretty much the Panthers side. Now Cam Newton is pretty much one great charismatic quarterback, especially the dab, his flashy style of play, and possibly a lot of things. One thing that actually ended up being questioned, about in the media days, was pretty much about Cam Newton and his race, about his African American heritage, about him being an African American quarterback, and pretty much the thing is about that one is people were pretty much talking about this. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. And I guess, what can I say about that? Well, I don't know. I don't know, but it's kind of a big thing there. So, I'm probably going to say this. Is it a big thing? Is this like something? Because usually, a lot of times, these players, not a lot of them are usually quarterbacks are not usually black. There's not a lot of black quarterbacks. Now, there's been strides now with Russell Wilson and pretty much guys like Newton and Russell Wilson, Colin Kaepernick, and some other players. But it's pretty much pretty much the small thing there. Pretty much, and most recently, Tyrod Taylor who was a former backup for the Ravens, actually is current quarterback for the Bills, and it's somehow, I don't know, is this going to be like, what can I say about this? I don't know. Basically, it's pretty much something there I don't see. But anyway, enough about the thing about Cam Newton, the race thing. I don't know what I can say about that one. Basically, one thing big for sure is pretty much the Carolina Panthers. Exactly, they are probably one of the most complete teams this season, especially in their 15-1 regular season. They've been top team. They've been pretty much top teams like two teams who beaten Seattle Seahawks twice in one big home game, divisional playoff game, pretty much, which ended up being a big blowout, which was a surprise. But hey, pretty much, they actually just let them come back and just like, look, we don't care about how many more points we put on the board. The point is, you're not coming back, Seattle. So basically, at this point, they already ran the score up long enough, and pretty much they didn't feel like scoring anymore. So they just like, fuck it, we'll just let you guys see if you guys can come back and actually win this game. Which was interesting enough as it was. But hey, I don't know. So another thing about Carolina Panthers one big X factor is Cam Newton. He is a very flashy player, and he is a tall, big quarterback. Besides, basically, in the 60s, besides, people have said that in the 60s, guys, in the 60s, and I guess 60s, 70s, pretty much he is pretty much as big as an offensive lineman back in that time frame. So, in that time frame, if a lineman were that big at that time as a lineman, basically, I would probably, I'm not saying I would be like Cam Newton, but pretty much I could be if that was the case in the 60s. But I am pretty much but I guess I was born way too late then for that chance to ever happen. So, yeah, there's that. So, what can we expect this? Also, there's one big X factor is the passing defense. Their safeties, led by cornerback Josh Norman, who has a little bit more of a eccentric personality other than Richard Sherman, who is pretty much a big bog, is going to be trying to go at these big plays. And the thing about the Carolina Panthers, they have been opportunistic in getting interceptions, especially in chances where passes are going to be contested. So, are they people we can expect? How many interceptions could that be? So the thing is about Peyton Manning, his power, he doesn't have that much power in his throws at this point. So that's going to be one thing there. How often will these passes be? And second, is it going to be easier for Carolina at least to actually get these passes this quickly? Because if that's the case, the Denver Broncos, pretty much what we'll have to do at this point will be to try as best they can to stop to actually try to go short and just hope to get more yards from that point. That's one idea, and also one big thing is try to establish the run game. If that's the case, pretty much one thing about Cam Newton and the Panthers is to take it to the front seven. One thing that is pretty much about Cam Newton is he is very good against the blitz. So if the Denver Broncos are playing on blitzing, they gotta be sure they can actually you better hope their safeties, better hope their secondary is good enough to stop this from happening. So, what can we expect? I don't know, but what I'm saying is it's going to be a good game. So, what pretty much the question is, prediction. What can I predict about this one? I am going to go with, who will win this game? It's a little dicey who would win this game. It's pretty much an even matchup. But in the end, I'm going to go with Denver over Carolina 33-30. Now, why I say that is because one big idea I'm thinking this is going to go down to the wire, and Peyton Manning will probably try to make one last game-winning drive, and a possibility of scoring a game-winning touchdown. That's pretty much my best guess, because I actually thought about this in my head that pretty much that Cam Newton and the Panthers already scored a field goal from this point and kicked the ball off, and pretty much Denver Broncos started at their own 20, and they drove down the field well enough on and they waited to the last play of the football game and it goes down to the last play of the game with possibly 5 seconds left on the clock, something like that. And I'm thinking it's 4th and goal from the 10 or the 5 yard line. Not the 1 yard line. Nothing pretty much like that freaking Malcolm Butler interception or anything like that. Just nothing like that at all. Just basically, we all want to forget that memory. And again, Seattle, why didn't you just give the ball to Marshawn? It's that simple. Just give him. You should have just given him to Marshawn. You would have actually won it. You had the game won, man. Whatever. Pretty much. Excuse me. But the point is, in the end of it all, Payman makes a good game-winning touchdown on the last play of the game, and they get that second Lombardi trophy. So that's that. So that is my preview and what I think about this. Now, if you guys got anything different about this, leave it some comments in the comment section below, and also don't leave some comments in the comment section below. So now this. So, Pokemon will be celebrating its 20th anniversary this year with their own Super Bowl commercial telling players to train on. Now, Pokemon has been around for 20 years. Its big franchise has been out in form of video games, manga, anime, you name it. So, pretty much one big form of Pokemon franchise. There has been some bad things that happen in the Pokemon franchise. So, we're going to list them. So, here is the top 10 things Nintendo wants you to forget about Pokemon. And the first, and start off with number 10, is right. So when the Pokemon Jinx was introduced in Red and Blue, people were questioning their color of Jinx's of Pokemon's skin. Now, him or her, doesn't matter, pretty much. Jinx is a Pokemon regardless, so we're just gonna call it here. Basically, the Pokemon was pretty much considered racist by a black person who looked at this character and said, "This is kind of racist here because Jinx kind of was a bit of black, looked a bit of blackface." So they kind of took that. So someone took that seriously. Now the thing is about this character was that she is pretty much based off of a Japanese design style, fashion style that was going on at that time frame. So it wasn't trying to be racist at all, but Pokemon listened to people and pretty much didn't want to be known as racist. They decided to change the color to purple. Also, they also banned an episode called Holiday Hijinks, which was a Christmas episode, because of Jinx's original color. So, there's that. Number 9 is right. So, in number 9, gambling. Yes, in the original Pokemon games to Gen 3, they had at least one game corner. In Western European releases, people pretty much came in uproar. Pretty much people thought Nintendo was teaching their kids to gamble. So pretty much Nintendo decided from in 4, they decided to get rid of the game corner, and they decided to do the game corner. They decided to just have no gameplay involved. You just find coins in the slot machine, and I guess that fell out of the drip pan of a game pan or whatever. Pretty much that's what happened. Since Black and White, when they actually did the remaster, when they did Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, they actually replaced that game corner that was in Goldenrod City. they replaced it with a full tour flip game, which pretty much instead of, and you can't buy any coins, so it was pretty much mandatory for you to pretty much play to get 10,000. You have to grind and play through to get 10,000 coins. Try to get a Dratini and a Porygon or whatever. Get a Dratini or a Porygon in the game. So suck, and pretty much since Black and White, there have been no game corners since then. So that's one thing. So that was pretty much something. It wasn't really controversial. Just something people just wanted. It wasn't really that controversial, but Nintendo decided to get rid of that. So there's that. Number 8 is right. In the anime, they actually came with a ball called the GS ball. It was something that they actually was planning on doing. The ball was supposed to be containing the Pokemon Celebi, and was something to be in canon into with the Pokemon movie with called Pokemon Forever, with the Pokemon Celebi as being one of the big features in that movie. So one thing about Pokemon anime is they actually had an idea about it. Then I guess something came around and they decided to they took this over to Kurt. Took this over to pretty much Ash took this to Kurt in the TV show, and that was it. And pretty much every fan was thinking themselves that was it. And fans kept asking what it was about. There have been theories, there's been theories and upon theories online and all that stuff. What was it about? Frankly, I don't know. And pretty much, and the thing is, the Game Freak, Nintendo, and subsidiaries really want to forget about that in the Pokemon. Really want that to be hidden from. So, that's that. Number 7 is Number 7. Yes. Pretty much Pokemon has had some comparisons to animal cruelty, mainly because of PETA. Mainly from PETA. PETA pretty much compared Pokemon to animal cruelty, because basically when you look at Pokemon, it's like pretty much two people you keep in a, because pretty much, let's be honest, Pokeball is kind of a spiritual prison, and pretty much you are forcing them to fight its own brothers and sisters to the death. Possibly to the death. So, I mean, that kind of makes them, so it kind of gets interesting from there. So it's kind of interesting from that perspective. So that's the thing there, right? So yeah, pretty much Peter has had made similar thing like that to the Mario Bros. Franchise. When Super Mario 3D came out, they kind of questioned the Kanuki suit as pretty much I don't know, whatever it's called about whatever the settlers did to beavers and fur, I don't know, very much similar to that. And pretty much instead of Mario suits, they called them transformations instead. Yeah, that was a big deal there. Number 6 is right. So, the Legend of Dratini episode. Pretty much, if you ever watched the anime, pretty much, Ash caught 50 Tauros. The Pokemon that most resembles pretty much a bull. Pretty much, it's Venus. If you're ever wondering how do you even catch these Pokemon, well, those 50 Tauros. Well, it was an episode called The Legend of Dratini. Well, it got banned. Well, that episode got taken off the airways because of two small things. The first one was started in the very first minute into the show. Pretty much, Ash and friends go to the Safari Zone, and the Warden pretty much introduces them to in a big surprise in the form of possibly the greatest tag team partner in pretty much in the world, a freaking gun. And I'm not in this saying no Nerf gun, a dart gun, nope. Just a straight up full scale revolver. Besides, they didn't even make it subtle. They just straight up, it just took 30 seconds. Just pretty much, you just look for 1 second. Next thing you know, bam, gun to the face. I'm like, what the? You just asked it. So people got very shocked when they saw this. Another thing is, they kind of got shocked where Alf and Team Rocket's Meowth kind of dressed up like, had an outfit similar to Hitler. Kind of got a little bit Hitlery. Yeah, it was weird. That was an episode, I don't know how this happened, pretty much. So they took that episode off the air, and that's banned. And it's banned because of that issue. So hey, we're halfway through the list. Let's move on. Number 5. Yes. So some fundamentalist Christian groups pretty much thought Pokemon was linked to some Satanism. Pretty much devil worship. Pretty much there's a lot of reasons, and it's a big list, and it's big to list them off. So I actually decided to create one for you guys. All right. Right. So these things, the list you just said here, they were so ridiculous that the Pope had to tell the people, hey, this isn't linked to Satan at all. This movie pretty much shows the bond of friendship. Nothing linked to Satan at all. But it was pretty much that outrage. It came to that. So now to number 4. Yes. So we don't remember Team Rocket in the anime and pretty much in the original games. But one thing is about this is that the criminal organizations, they are kind of bit terrorists. In real life, they kind of lean towards the point of terrorism. I mean, let's look at Team Rocket from the first and second games. Let's look pretty much, most notably the second game, in the second generation games. Pretty much, they hijacked a radio station. They pretty much have pretty much caused the creation of possibly the Red Gyarados in Lake Rage. So that's one thing. Let's look at Gen 3. Team Aqua and Team Magma have pretty much tried to use a legendary Pokemon to reshape the world. That's a big one. Team Galactic basically the leader pretty much wanted to get race time and space and create a new world just to himself. And Team Plasma pretty much wanted to liberate Pokemon and from people, and that's actually the closest thing to terrorism there, because that's kind of very political there, because basically that's the closest thing to politics there as it is. But that's something there I think a lot of people don't want to talk about in their dinner table. So yeah, moving on to number 3. Yes, pretty much Gen 1, they're in big theory of this Pokemon War. The question is, what is it about? What is that about? And what is it? What is it? What was the war? Who was involved? Why was there a war to begin with? No one knows. It was something that, in the closest thing to pretty much someone who would mention that, is pretty much Lieutenant Surge, the Vermilion Sea gym leader in the Gen 1 games, pretty much mentioned something about a war when he said Electro Pokemon saved his life, but he never went on to that before he pretty much battled him. So the question is, there was a war. We don't know what it was about. And that's something Pokemon just really doesn't want to talk about or mention at all. So let's move on to that. To number 2. We're almost done, thank goodness. Yes, you knew pretty much this was going to be on the list, and if you have not heard of this, well, I'll explain this to you, basically. It was an episode in Japan called The Electric Soldier Porygon. Porygon was an episode in Japan that they aired, and it set a Guinness World Record for pretty much the most photosensitive epileptic seizures in a single moment. Pretty much, the episode was big thing in Japan. It was a big deal. Pretty much this because of a thunder shock by Pikachu to pretty much by a missile by a computer generated missile. The explosion triggered a strobing effect for flash red and blue lights for straight pretty much hundreds of red and blue lights for about 5 whole seconds. Because of those 5 whole seconds, the 685 Japanese children were pretty much actually had to go to the hospital because of these full epileptic seizures. Excuse me. Pretty much, this was a big issue. The Pokemon pretty much banned this episode. It was not released overseas. They banned this episode overall. And the show got put off hiatus for a whole 4 months. It was super major bad. It was something that pretty much fans did not want. It was something that Pokemon wants to put away, because also Nintendo lost about 5% of their shares in Japan because of that incident. So they definitely want to get rid of that. Don't want that to happen. So if you think about it, if Pokemon was like WWE, pretty much that episode is pretty much like the Chris Benoit of Pokemon episodes. Yeah. So yeah. There's that. But sadly, that is not the worst. The worst is something that could have happened last year. Now, this one pretty much is a big thing about. Now, we all hear about the controversy and news stories about video games causing violence and all that crap. Well, here's the thing about that. Pretty much the big thing about this one is this. Every year, the Pokemon has a video game and trading card game championships held every year in Hawaii. Well, the one they had this past August in 2015 pretty much had a little bit of controversy involved, and you probably did not really hear this on the news, but it was something big. It was where 2 people was planning on killing the competition by bringing in an AR-15 and shotguns. Seriously, some grown man pretty much thought just try to win the championship by actually doing this. it was a thing that happened. Thank goodness this someone stopped somehow. Now here's the thing: how they people find out about this? Well, they found out about it through when these two people showed some pictures and this stuff on Facebook. So, guess the police actually found out about it. Someone pretty much stopped them before anything like this happened. Arrested these guys, and that happened. And I'm glad they actually stepped up to this very quickly because that is borderline terrorism right there. And second of all, pretty much it would have caused pretty much a lot of things like a lot of like new stuff like video games is causing this and is causing violence, inciting violence, and blah 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 and whatever bullcrap. So it was a big thing. And besides, people, the only way you're probably gonna try to win this thing is just use the legal legendaries and just have a variety of movesets and use enough speed and make sure they are good enough speed and actually you can attack first every time. That's why one of my main members of the team just use a Crobat. One perfect Pokemon, perfect speed, and it works all around well. But yeah, so that's it. That's the top 10 things Nintendo wants you to forget about Pokemon. Did I miss any? Now, if I missed anything, let me know in the comment section below. Alright? Hope you enjoy that. And finally, to close out the show, of course, we gotta keep it real. Yep. It's time to keep it real up in her. Alright. Alright, so this one came from pretty much from Rampappy with some Japanese kanji or whatever. Pretty much, I don't know how you say this one. I don't know what it is. Pretty much, this is from pretty much all, but I do know who it's from. It's pretty much from my friend Emmanuel Flemser. Thanks, man. It is this. Yes. When can we expect the late and great Tom Brady to retire after this possibly being Manny's last season? Well, I can say is this. I'm assuming that Tom Brady will retire maybe not next year. That could be the earliest I could expect he could retire, say next year. Because at that point he probably will try to get that one last Super Bowl win. This belt. The other the next time could possibly be would possibly be in 2017, because at that point then he has to compete in 18 seasons just like Peyton Manning. So it could be a possibility that next year is earliest, latest the next year. It could be interesting. He competes like another season after that. That would be a more interesting thing there. So I'm gonna say earliest is next season. The latest is 2018 at least. 2018 maybe. So we could say somewhere between 2016 and 2018, we could expect the ending. Tom Brady taking his step into going away. And so does Bill Belichick, because come on, both of them have been around the Patriots around the exact same time. I think it's probably obvious that they're probably going to retire at this point. So there's that. That's what I think. So as you can see, I kept it real, people. Did my job. Seriously, I'm asking you guys simple. I need you guys to challenge me here. You guys gotta challenge me. Give me something where pretty much I will plead the fifth like Nick Cannon does at Wild Out. Yeah, give me something like I cannot answer. Something like Bieber related or something like like something stupid, something I probably can't answer while looking at the camera with a straight face and can't answer it in front of the camera. No, something like that. Give me some channels like that. But yeah. So, that's it for this week's JJMA production. So, my name is Jason Johnson. You watched this, and this has been a JJMA production. This is Jason Johnson saying so long, and keep on partying, people. Hey, I'm Jason Johnson. Listen, I'm asking you guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video. You can leave your comments in the comment section below. You can also follow me on Twitter at DarkSavior1996. You can also add me on Snapchat, JMoneyLiving96. Also got an Instagram. You can follow me there too, with JMoneyLiving96. Also, you can listen to my music on SoundCloud. It's JMoney96. And The Great Hustle is listed on eBay. See you next time.